One of the most important topic of pathology, that is gangrene. Gangrenous is necrosis of tissue associated with superadded putrefaction, most often following coagulative necrosis due to ischemia. Ischemia is low blood supply. Gangrenous or necrotizing inflammation is characterized primarily by inflammation provoked by virulent bacteria, resulting in massive tissue necrosis. Necrosis means cell death. Who's most at risk? People most at risk of gangrene are those with underlying health condition that can affect the blood vessels and arteries, and those with weakened immune system. Condition affecting the blood vessels. For example, first is diabetes, a lifelong condition that causes a person's blood sugar level to become too high, which can damage the nerve and blood vessel, restricting the blood supply to your feet. Less blood means your feet will also receive fewer injection fighting cells. Less blood means your feet will also receive few infection fighting cells, so wound will take longer time to heal and it is more likely to become infected. Second is atherosclerosis, that is when arteries narrows and become clogged with fatty substance, that is known as plaque. Then third is peripheral arterial disease, where a buildup of fatty deposit in the arteries restrict blood supply to leg muscles. Fourth is Raynaud disease. Person with weak immune system, which includes chemotherapy and radiotherapy, HIV, diabetes, long-term alcohol misuse, injecting drugs such as heroin, malnutrition, being over 60 years of age. The older you are, the less efficient your immune system is, obesity, and kidney failure. Types of gangrene. So there are mainly two types of gangrene, that is dry gangrene and wet gangrene. And a variant of wet gangrene is gas gangrene. Dry gangrene. So this forms of gangrene begins in the distal part of the limb due to ischemia. Distal part means the part which is farthest from your body. For example, toe. The typical example is the dry gangrene is in the toe and in the feet of the old patient due to severe atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis means narrowing of the arteries. Other cause of dry gangrene food include thromboangiitis obliterans, that is Buerger's disease, Raynaud disease, trauma, ergot poisoning. It is usually initiated in one of the toe, which is farthest from the blood supply, containing so little blood that even the invading bacteria find it hard to grow in the necrosed tissue. The gangrene spreads slowly upward until it reaches a point where the blood supply is adequate and keep the tissue viable. A line of separation is formed at this point between the gangrenous part and the viable part. Morphologic features. The affected part is dry, shrunken and dark black in color, resembling the foot of a mummy, that is Egypt 1. Second is it is black due to liberation of hemoglobin from the hemolyzed RBC, that is the RBC breaks and the hemoglobin is released, which acts upon the hydrogen disulfide which is produced by the bacteria, and it results in the formation of black iron sulfide. So the appearance of that gangrenous part looks dark black in color. Then third point, the line of separation usually brings out about complete separation with eventually falling of the gangrenous tissue if it is not removed surgically. Last point is histologically, there is necrosis with smudging of the tissue. The line of separation consists of inflammatory granulation tissue. Second is wet gangrene. Wet gangrene occurs in naturally moist tissue and organs such as bowel, lung, mouth, cervix and vulva. To the other examples of wet gangrene having clinical significance are as follow. First is diabetic foot, which is due to high glucose content in the necrosed tissue, which favors the growth of the bacteria. Second is bed sores, occurring in the bedridden patient due to pressure on the site like the sacrum, buttocks and heels. Then the affected part is stuffed with blood, which favors the rapid growth of the putrefactive bacteria. Now, the toxic product formed by this bacteria, they are absorbed by the profound systemic manifestations of septicemia and finally death occurs. The spreading wet gangrene generally lack clear-cut line of demarcation and may spread to peritoneal cavity causing peritonitis. Starting with the morphologic features, so the affected part is soft, swollen, putrid, rotten and dark. The part is stained dark black due to the same mechanism as in dry gangrene. Histologically, there is coagulative necrosis with stuffing of the affected part with the blood. The mucosa is ulcerated and slot. Lumen of the bowel contain mucus and blood. There is intense acute inflammatory exudates and thrombosed vessels. The line of demarcation between the gangrenous segment and the viable bowel is generally not clear cut. So difference between dry and wet gangrene. So first site, dry gangrene, the site is lower limb, whereas in wet gangrene, the site is more common in bowel. Or you could say the wet organs or tissue. Then dry gangrene, mechanism is arterial occlusion. Whereas in wet gangrene, the mechanism is more commonly venous occlusion and less often that is arterial occlusion. Then the macroscopy of the dry gangrenous organ is dry, shrunken and black in color. Whereas in wet gangrene, the macroscopy is moist, soft, swollen and dark. Then the line of demarcation in dry gangrene is present between the gangrenous and the healthy part, whereas in wet gangrene there is no line of demarcation. Then presence of bacteria in dry gangrene, the bacteria fails to survive, whereas in wet gangrene numerous bacteria is present. So last, the prognosis, that is the treatment. So in dry gangrene, it is generally better due to little septicemia, whereas in wet gangrene, it is generally poor due to profound toxemia. So last, the prognosis, that is the treatment. So in dry gangrene, it is generally better due to little septicemia, whereas in wet gangrene, it is generally poor due to profound toxemia. Starting with the gas gangrene, so it is special form of wet gangrene which is caused by gas forming Clostridia, that is a gram-positive anaerobic bacteria. It gains entry into the tissue through an open contaminated wound, especially in the muscles or as in the complication of an operation on colon which normally contain Clostridia. This Clostridia produce various toxins which produces necrosis and edema locally and are absorbed, producing profound systemic manifestations. Starting with the morphologic features, so the affected part is swollen, edematous, painful and crepitant due to accumulation of the gas bubbles of the carbon dioxide within the tissues formed by the fermentation of the sugar by bacterial toxins. Subsequently, the affected tissue becomes dark black and is foul smelling. Microscopically, we can see the muscle fibers undergo coagulative necrosis with liquefaction, and large number of gram-positive bacilli can be identified. At the periphery, that is at the border, a zone of leukocytic infiltration, edema and congestions are found, and the capillaries and the venous thrombi are common.